Hi, I'm Daphne Goode in downtown Duncan, where a lot of people enjoy boutique shopping and easy parking. We'll be visiting one of the newest boutiques in the program. Welcome to Go Island, Cowichan Valley. On today's show, we'll look at downtown shopping in Duncan and visit a Cowichan Valley turkey farm. Then we'll travel to Salt Spring Island for bohemian consignment. All that and more on Go Island, Cowichan Valley.
Go Island is brought to you by German Auto Import Network.
You should never
Alyssa Wasser won the 2011 BC Provincial Karaoke Competition, beating out over 40 other competitors. Singing truly brings her joy, and if you shop in her brand new boutique in the heart of Duncan's shopping district, chances are you won't be able to avoid what her voice brings forth.
Please, quit trying to fix it, 'cause baby, it's broke. When it's late and then you call me, I got another man fixing it.
I can't actually remember not loving music, so falling in love with it, it's been a love my entire life. So I can't pinpoint that moment, but I've been singing since I was a really, really little girl. I actually started singing in church when I was about 3 years old. It was actually kind of funny. We would do these big holiday events, and every family would have to do a talent and perform. And well, my mom was like, well, I'm not talented, I'm not doing it. My dad was like, you know what, I'm not getting up there. And they were like, you know what, Alyssa's cute. Let's just put her on stage. Everybody will think it's so cute that she sang Jingle Bells. And afterward, people kept coming up to my mom and being like, oh, you know, Alyssa can sing. And my mom goes, yeah, she's a little girl, she can sing. And they go, no, she can really sing. And she's like, okay. You know, she just thought I was a little girl that sang like little girls do. And then later on, when I was in kindergarten and singing, and again, it's still, you know, probably Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Right.
But I would sing it. So people would be calling my mom and being like, did you know Alyssa can sing? No, she can really sing. And so from there on, I was like the little girl that sang, and so I've kind of grown up as the, you know, I'm now the lady that sings.
Yeah, you're the protege in the family.
Yeah. Apparently.
Let's talk about the karaoke competition, how exciting that was. And then you won, and it was a total surprise, correct?
It was. I put a lot of pressure on myself before that. I looked at everybody in the roster. There were, I think, 41 or 42 people, and most every performer has music on YouTube. So I did something very sneaky, and I went online and I looked up everybody's that had its YouTube videos. And by the time I was done, I went, well, there's no way I'm winning this competition. Like, there's no way out of these 40 some odd people. I was like, the odds are nil. So I went over to Vancouver and I just told my friends and family, I was like, you know what, you guys stay home, like I'm just gonna go do this, but it's really, you know what, it's just not likely. So I went and I hung out in the green room and I made friends with a lot of people that were performing that night, and I got to watch everyone perform. I was the second to last person up, and at that point I was like, well, there's no way, I've seen great performers. And I got up and I sang, and I won the competition, and I started to cry like a baby. I mean, I sing all day as I work. I'm tiding and I'm singing, and sometimes I don't even know I'm doing it. And throughout my whole life, people always go, oh, you seem really happy. And it's because you're singing all day. You can't be upset and, you know, singing along. So I have always said that I chirp. I chirp my whole day. It keeps me balanced. Music keeps me balanced.
In terms of your style, I mean, I noticed in the competition you were singing Janis Joplin, you were singing Etta James. Certainly for your age, that wouldn't be what I would think would be typical. So it sounds like you have a really wide range in terms of your taste for music.
I mean, music in general is just really phenomenal, and I like so many different types of music. I think that a lot of the artists out of like the 70s and like even actually the 80s, I know people don't typically think that that's like a great like 80s pop, but I have a real soft spot for it. But yeah, the Beatles, Janis, like anybody that sang with like their soul on the line, that just really, like these days, I'd say I'm really interested in like blues and something with like a little bit of a jazzy edge, and I've actually gotten into a lot of folk lately too.
If music is bedrock for Alyssa, then the rich soil that grows her business is born from her own love of clothing and shopping.
I love merchandising. Yeah, as far as like the style of merchandising, I really like to pair items, obviously, that you would wear together, but it really has to be visually appealing. Like I like the colors to sort of coordinate, and I like the lines to read, so I'm very, my supervisor used to say that I was anal, but in the best way possible. And you know what? That's something that's actually worked really well for me, is being super meticulous, and things have to be just so, and I'll try it a couple different ways until I've got like the perfect layout. And if I got everything else to work and this one section isn't working, I'm back to the drawing board. It's gonna be perfect when I'm done. Pretty much what I do, and I think that most women that enjoy shopping probably do the same thing, but we look for pieces that we like. I look for something that I like. It has to be a color that kind of grabs me right away. I like, I'm very tactile. I like to touch material. It has to have a nice feel, because I don't know, you were saying too, you like to touch things as you go.
Yeah.
And it has to offer a really, like a nice fit, right? Like if it, you know, the shoulder just so, something that's got a good sleeve, bra friendly. I do really look for reasonable necklines and hemlines that you don't feel like you're playing peekaboo.
Yeah.
There is a very strong effort made for dresses with the longer hemline, so you can feel appropriate wearing it from day and maybe into your office attire.
As a consultant for her clients, Alyssa brings a love of fashion, and at 26 years of age, she's been warmly welcomed by other Cowichan Valley business owners.
It's a really good community downtown, and everyone is just, I think the idea is the more people downtown, the more draw there is to shop locally.
Now, one of the planks in what you're doing, as well as your mom who's across the way,
I know,
is organic. Very friendly material, I'll call it. So tell me why you strive for that, and is it difficult for you to have a retail shop that features that clothing? Is there enough of it?
You know what? If you had asked me this question a couple years ago, I would have said yes. It's difficult to find companies with enough transparency that you know that they're being ethical, or with enough like selection to be able to have the style of clothing that you're looking for the concept of the store in organic materials. These days, I think that the consumer has become more conscious, and so because everybody's more aware, companies have been forced to, like I said, have this sort of open door, this transparency, and to provide eco alternatives. It's really cool, actually. We're seeing this even with companies like H&M. They have an eco line, and I think a lot of stores, like even downtown, you know, there's a lot of fashionable brands that do organic. So there's brands like Covet, or there's brands like Alternative that I'm so excited to be carrying. I have a small selection right now, but for spring, summer, beautiful maxi dresses, wonderful prints, loose fit tanks and tees, and they're so soft.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
that sounds glorious.
Oh, there's something about organic fiber when you touch it. It's just like, you know, it's something special. People touch and go, oh. Like, there's just this reaction. They go, that's soft. I'm like, that's organic, and that's what you're feeling.
We're going to take a quick break right now, but when we come back, we'll visit again with Alyssa at the Archer and Arrow in downtown Duncan. And you're also going to meet two women who've opened a consignment store. It's all about clothing today. They opened the store in Ganges so they can live, work, and play on Salt Spring Island. Our James Green will be heading over to find out what that's all about. So what about Canadian designers? Are you supporting them as well, Alyssa?
As much as possible. I mean, we're Canadian. I love to shop locally, like personally, as much as possible, so I do the same thing for my business. I mean, Canadian designers are so talented, and there's so much selection and variety. Montreal. I've got 2 lines out of Montreal that I'm so excited to be carrying. In fact, I should be getting my first shipment at the end of this month. I'm just on pins and needles. The first one is actually called Lady Dutch, and it's a really neat sort of style. It's almost like a European inspired line, but for a North American market. It's really cool. Like, you guys are gonna love it when you see it. And also I've got this really great one called Against Nudity, which is kind of a tongue-in-cheek sort of name, which I really like. But they do these great, very tailored, neutral palette basics, so affordable, and just like beautiful staples that you're going to have in your closet for years.
From clothing to jewelry, it's an easy step for Alyssa, who was fascinated by gemstones at an early age. She was excited to show us some of the unique colors in her jewelry lines.
I actually consider myself a bit of a geology buff when I was younger. Like I was 5 and I wanted to be a geologist. So I really take pride in knowing what like every stone is, and if I don't know, I kind of go out of my way to try to find it.
So can you identify those?
Yes, this one is iolite, and that is a howlite bead.
Howlite.
It's pretty. It almost has like a turquoise quality about it. This right here you've probably seen before. It's hard to tell here, but it's actually labradorite, and it gets this really beautiful, almost like iridescent quality. I don't know if we can see it right in this light, but this is cool. It's very opalescent, so it's the sister stone to moonstone.
Oh.
Yeah. You can barely throw a stone and not hit somebody that designs jewelry in the valley. There is so much to choose from, and so I think the hardest part about carrying local jewelry is narrowing down what you're going to carry. Yeah, I've got this great brand out of Vancouver called Sac Bijou, and it's all handcrafted by Sarah Kennedy, so handmade with love. There's nothing like jewelry handmade with love.
Absolutely.
I've got a couple lines that are actually made in the valley, so we're going really local, and this year I'm actually looking to get my hands on a couple more brands, but I won't name any names because that's yet to be seen.
Well, I like looking forward to a surprise coming up. Let's talk about the passion for retail, because I said earlier it's hard to find people who really do have that passion. What's so great about retail, and why are you so in love with it? It's like you can hardly wait to open the doors to the store here.
I think that my passion for retail, I can't really take credit for. I started with a phenomenal company. When I was like newly out of high school, I actually moved to Victoria when I was 18, and I started working for Sterling Shoes. And so a lot of you are probably familiar with Sterling, and I worked with the most phenomenal team of women, and I had this my supervisor was just like this inspiration. So like I said, I can't really take credit. I think that if I had worked with a different team, that I might not have the same kind of fire in me for retail.
Yeah, and you worked for Freeman Shoes as well, right?
Well, Sterling Shoes, Friedman's, Shoe Warehouse, all the same company. So yeah, so I actually managed this Sterling stores, and as recently as October this past year, I was managing the Shoe Warehouse in town. So it was a really long time, relationship with this company. So I'm a little bit nostalgic and a little bit I'm not sad by any means. I'm really excited to move forward, but I still miss my girls.
Yeah.
They're my girls, and when I talk about the stores and the company, I still always say we. And I think that's a habit that'll die hard.
Oh, that's great.
You're Sagittarius.
Yeah, so it's Archer and Arrow. It's a nod to the zodiac without being really obvious, Sag girls shop here. Yeah. And it's fun because a lot of people do ask me, where did you get your name from? And there's a couple things, I like alliteration, and I always have. I always try to use it a lot in writing, and if you look at my Facebook page, I'm a little bit corny in how much alliteration I use, but it works for me. And it was actually really cool. So I wanted to like the sounds of the words, and I like the word arrow. I like the way that sounds, and I was thinking, well, what kind of works with arrow? I was like, well, Archer and Arrow. And I was like, well, I'm Sagittarius. And so it kind of all came together. And then as I'm driving, I'm kind of going light bulb. I was actually able to sort of envision the whole logo with the intersecting A's, and it's nice because you've got the arrow running through and the A, so it mimics the name, but it actually is very much it's like the mountains. We live in the mountains, so we're surrounded, so it kind of encompasses a lot of things.
Let's talk now about Archer and Arrow. This is a whole different thing. It's your own label in terms of your branding.
Yes.
It's your own store. So along come risk, hopefully profit.
Yeah.
How do you see the business side of the business?
Well, you know what? I came into this keeping my expectations very low. I kind of went, you know what? I'm I guess, aware enough that you don't really start to see any sort of profit, 2-3 years. So I just kind of came into this going, you know what, I love to shop, I love to buy, I love to dress, I love fashion, I love to merchandise, and I like seeing people. I like talking to people, I like engaging with people. I think it's the customer relations that I probably enjoy the most.
Yeah.
So having a store where I can kind of put a personal touch on every aspect of it, and it's a lot of pressure, and you're right, it's a lot of risk, because if I make a mistake, the only person I can blame is me. But if I make the right decision, that's so gratifying.
We're going to take a quick break right now, but when we come back, free range and cage run. What do these terms mean exactly? Our Meg Cuthbert will find out.